Hi everyone. So I know I've had a lot of new subscribers since I first started posting the Awakening series a while back. So for all the new subscribers out there, I highly recommend that before you watch this video, you go back to the beginning of the series and watch it from there. Okay, so last time I got up to the point where I'd just gone to the meditation session with Chelsea and her mum, and I'd had that vision. And I was in the car on the way back. Chelsea was acting up. She was being very strange with me. And we was on the way back home to her place. So we arrive back at her house, we go in, we get ready for bed, and we go to sleep. On quite a bad note, it was quite obvious that we weren't getting along. She wasn't trying to hide it in any sort of way, and I wasn't trying to hide the fact that I'd recognised that she was being weird with me. So I fell to sleep, and throughout the night's dreams, there was this one song playing in the background for the entirety. The song is called Great Death by Explosions in the Sky. Some of you may have heard of it. It's off their album Those Who Tell the Truth Shall Die, Those Who Tell the Truth Shall Live Forever. And when I woke up in the morning, I thought it was kind of strange that this had happened. I'd never had that, like one song playing through the entirety of the whole night's dreams. It had never happened before. So it really made me think, what does that mean? And I started analysing it, and I thought, is the meaning behind the actual song, like the way it sounds, or is the meaning behind the actual name of the song, or is the meaning behind the feelings that I connect with the song? I was trying to analyse it. As time went on through the day, I decided that I was over-analysing it. I was looking into it far too much, and it was as simple as the name of the song, Great Death. Now, as I'm sure you all know, say for example, if you had a tarot card reading and you got the death card, it wouldn't necessarily mean that you're going to die. It just means something's going to change in your life. The death of something old and the birth of something new. So death is a metaphor for something quite positive, and as that realisation started sinking in more and more throughout the day, I started breaking down the name. So great death, great change, welcome change into your life. And in the end, that's how I interpreted those dreams. So anyway, the rest of my trip to Canada was absolutely awful. God, I don't even want to go into it really, it was bad. Like I said, Chelsea switched off after that night, and she never switched back on. Some of you might be getting confused here because you're thinking, well hang on, she must have switched back on because you're still seeing her now. No, my current girlfriend is also called Chelsea. But that's just a coincidence, or is it? I mean, this kind of ties in with the overall story arc of why my new girlfriend is also called Chelsea, but I mean, that's just so far out there and much further on down the line in the story, so for now let's just leave that as a coincidence. It made perfect sense why Chelsea switched off that night, in hindsight. It didn't at the time, it was very confusing and it was quite a heartbreaking experience, but like I said, looking back in hindsight, it makes sense. I believe that on a subconscious level, she knew exactly what she was doing, and that she was there as a catalyst for me. That she, got into this relationship with me, got me over to Canada, so I could have this experience, and then as soon as these memories were sparked back off in me, her purpose had been fulfilled, and there was no longer any need for us to be in a relationship, so she switched off. So for that last week in Canada, I was pondering the vision quite a lot, as you can imagine. And the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I started feeling drawn towards Reiki. I started thinking, maybe that's what he's trying to tell me. Maybe I need to get into some sort of healing work. Maybe I need to remember how to do what I was doing in this vision. So when I arrived back in England, I went to my dad and my stepmom Annie, and I told them what had happened, and I told them that I now wanted to pursue Reiki. Not necessarily as a profession, but I just felt like it was the right thing to do, and that it was the next step, it was the next piece of the puzzle. Luckily enough, they actually knew a Reiki master that was willing to teach me, so we got it booked up really quickly for August the 11th. Now, you can corroborate this information with a video log I actually made for YouTube when I'd just arrived back from Canada. I think it was about a week or two after I got back. and you can find that in my video upload section. So August the 11th rolled around and I went to meet the Reiki master, Colleen, at her house. And I don't want to bore you all with the details, but she was pretty much flabbergasted by my natural skill. As she was guiding me through the processes, she said to me that she'd never felt such intense energy emanating off a beginner like me. I was obviously greatly honoured by this compliment, and it really got me off to a good start with the whole thing. It was a good confidence booster, and it kind of reaffirmed to me that, you know, maybe this vision I had wasn't just some sort of delusion. Maybe it actually meant something. At the end of the first day, we decided on when it would be best for me to come back for my second day of level 1 training. We settled on September the 1st, which was about 3 weeks later, which we thought was a perfect amount of time to let the information sink in and assimilate. She explained to me that during my second day of training, I would experience something called a Reiki attunement. In layman's terms, what this is the unlocking of something within you that enables the channeling of new energies through you. So September the 1st rolls around and off I go back to Colleen's house. For the first half of the session we discussed what we'd touched on previously, and then she brought up some new techniques that she hadn't touched on in the first session, and then I did another practice healing on her, and again it went fabulously. So the first half of the second session comes to an end and we go off and have some lunch and discuss how we think the healing went, and we also start talking about what's about to happen, the Reiki attunement. So she explains the process to me, but you know, I'm still in the dark to a certain extent. I don't know exactly what it's all going to entail. All I know is it feels right, and it feels like something momentous is about to occur. And so we go back upstairs and the attunement begins. I close my eyes and she does her thing. I can't remember how long went by. I think it was about 10 or 15 minutes if I remember rightly. The thing that really does stick out in my mind though is how Colleen looked afterwards. She looked emotional, is the only way I can put it really. She just said to me, "Reese, I feel honoured to have just done that for you." I said, "Really? What do you mean?" She just said, "I don't know, I just felt like something really, really important just happened." And I felt it too. I must admit, I felt something. But I didn't know what it was. I knew something had happened, and she did as well, and I could see it in her eyes. It was quite moving, and you know, she looked very emotional, like I said. It's making my heart race now just thinking about it. Something really important had happened that day. At the time I didn't realise the full extent of what had happened. I knew something had happened, but I couldn't put my finger on quite what that was. However, as the months went on, the realisation started sinking in. And in the next video, I'll discuss exactly what that realisation was.